which is, well, if you try and you fail, that could be in a micro endeavor or a macro endeavor. If you try and you fail, well, you have two options. Well, you have three. One is you can just ignore it. And sometimes that's the right thing to do, because if you tried again, it would work. And so that's the utility of persistence. But you never know, in some fundamental sense, whether you're being persistent or blind. That's a tough thing to figure out. Most entrepreneurs who become successful have failed in a dozen enterprises before. And so are they persistent, or have they failed to learn from experience? It's like, well, there's a toss-up. Then imagine you don't ignore it. Okay, now you're gonna fix the problem. Well, then you have two choices. You could fix the world, or you could fix yourself. And let's say, well, fixing yourself is often, at least in principle, easier than fixing the world, although sometimes the world is wrong and you're right. Not very often, but sometimes, So if you're going to fix yourself, you've failed multiple times. The first thing that has to happen is that the part of you that's error-ridden has to die. And so there is that element. That's exactly, I would say, in some sense, the payoff of neuroticism is, well, why have negative emotion? It's, well, you get anxious so that you stop doing things that might cause your own destruction. Like there's value in the signal, but because it's so difficult to determine, like if you're arguing with your wife, this is a constant issue in marriages, it's like, well, should she change or you? And the answer sometimes is she should, and sometimes the answer is you should, and sometimes the answer is you both should, but it's not like that's easy to figure out a priori.